perfect game for Roy Halladay.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Davis. To my right is a Joel Embiid fan. If you didn't know it already, now you do. His name is George Ryder. You can follow him on Twitter at _George Ryder. Snap will be joining us soon. He's having some microphone issues and audio issues, so he'll be back shortly. I gotta fix up this background. This background is too depressing.
Yeah, it's like dark and gloomy in here.
It is too depressing for the Phaithful Phanatics. Here he is. Let's hope it works this time. Snap, are you good now?
Yeah, my computer just shitted on me, so
there we go.
I'm gonna try to get it to up and run, but I'm not gonna let that stop me.
I like it.
Good.
I like it. Here's the back. Yeah, there we go. Had to switch up the background a little bit. You can follow Snap on Twitter at Not Szymanski. Snap, if you didn't know, George is a Joel Embiid fan. That's breaking news to me. So on this, what's up?
Nice jersey, Snap.
Yeah, who's you got on, Ben?
Hey, you like that? Brand new.
On this episode of the Phaithful Phanatics, the three of us are going to be discussing last night's Sixers overtime win over the Utah Jazz, what it means to us at this point in the season. We're going to talk a lot about Joel Embiid and his case for MVP, some Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and so on. The Sixers are officially halfway through the season, 36 games in, 24-12, still in first place by half a game in the Eastern Conference. So we'll kind of break down the first half of the season, talk about how this team has played, what they're missing, what they need going forward, so on and so forth. So comment as much as you guys can, join the conversation with us, and let's have some fun. Snap, George and I already discussed this on the Daily Dose, so floor is yours, my man. The 76ers, what a freaking game. What a freaking win last night. Tell us just some of your takeaways. Go ahead.
It's absolutely incredible what this team has done this year. I mean, they still have flaws, as we can all see when we watch the bench come out, especially when, at one point in the game, they're 1 of 8 from three-point shooting. But when you go against the best team in the West, the number 1 best team in the West, and they score 21 three-pointers in a game, and you still pull through and beat them by sending it into overtime on the back of your MVP, and then having your all-star in Tobias Harris, regardless if he's an all-star or not, I think he's an all-star. When you have a guy like him and you just know how to use him right in overtime to seal the deal, I just don't know what more you could say about this team. They are so talented. They are just 1 or 2 pieces from being the legitimate favorite in the whole NBA from winning the NBA title. And it's something we've all been waiting for over this long process that we sat through over the last couple of years of them trying to figure it out. And it seems like it's like finally here. Like, I'm starting to get vibes. Like, we got the MVP front runner. We got the Defensive Player of the Year front runner. And, like, I just don't see any team stopping us, with the exception of maybe Brooklyn and LA when they're healthy. So it's just a lot to be excited about, and it's a lot to take in almost.
So I said this to George earlier, and we can talk about the game and everything that went into it. We can talk about Rudy Gobert not being Snap. What is going on here? Let's see. Did the laptop work now? There we go.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna. You came in on another screen. I was like, "What is going on here?"
Oh, I'm on mute. Okay, go ahead.
Good now?
Yeah.
All right, so we could talk about Rudy Gobert not being the Defensive Player of the Year. We could talk about Donovan Mitchell scoring 33 points on 34 shots and then being pissed off at the refs. We could talk about everything like that. But what last night showed me is, A, you already hit on one of the main talking points, and that is you were outscored from 3, 21 made threes by Utah to 8 for the 76ers. 39-point differential, and you find a way to win your way. Here's what last night showed me. And I think we've known this. We've been calling him the MVP for a while now. At least I have in my mind. He is the MVP. What last night showed me, Snap, against that competition, against People's Defensive Player of the Year and Rudy Gobert, against the second best defensive rating team in the league, the 76ers had the best player on the planet on the floor in a 7-game series. And I don't care what you want to call it. I don't. At this moment in time, today, March 4th, he is the best play. He is playing the best basketball over anyone in the association. I don't care what you say. So that's what last night showed me.
11 games with 35 points, 5 games with 40-plus points.
Hold on. He has
more 40-10 games than the whole entire league combined. He has more 40-10 games than anybody in the league combined. That's insane.
It's
That's
ludicrous.
That's mind-boggling.
It's absolutely ludicrous. And, dude, it's the way he's doing it. And I said this earlier, and it's another, it's not, I guess you call it a hot take, but I think it's the truth. No other center in NBA history, center, not Dirk as a power forward, center, can do what he did on the final play in regulation.
Absolutely not.
Not a chance in hell.
I don't think we've seen a center as skilled as Joel Embiid. I won't go as far as saying he's the best player in the world right now. I think that's up to debate. There's a lot of guys still in that competition. It's just hard to say that over half a season, regardless of how good you're playing. Because I think being the best player in the world also comes down to longevity to a degree.
No. I think he's playing. I think he's playing the best basketball.
I think he's the most dominant player in the league right now. I'll say that about him. But I don't think there's still parts of his game that could obviously have more work done to it. Is he top 3 in the league? Yeah. I think he's a top 3 player in the league right now. I think he's moved out of that top 10, top 5 spot to the top 3. I think you can put him up there with basically LeBron and Jokic, and then it's Embiid. Like, those are the top 3 players in the league, however you want to scramble them. That's not the exact order I would put them in. But touching back on your other point, center-wise, I don't think we've ever seen a center this skilled. Granted, none of us were alive for the great era of centers in the league. Right. But whenever you hear like about old heads talking about it, they even admit it. Like, Kareem didn't have finesse from outside like this. Shaq was dominant, but he didn't have Embiid's touch. Hakeem had the same type of footwork, but he couldn't bring it all the way outside like Embiid does. It's like this guy is a mixture of so many players that we are witnessing. I saw someone on Twitter basically call him Hakeem, Shaq, and Dirk mixed. And it's honestly the truth. From his face-up game to his download post-ups to his outside perimeter shooting and free throw shooting, he is unstoppable at a 3-scoring level. Outside, mid-range, and at the basket. You cannot stop him if he wants to get a bucket from any 3 of those spots.
Dude, that's exactly right. Like, my point was, I'm not saying no center could hit a 3 at the end of the game. I'm not saying that at all. With the game on the line, down 3, back to the basket in the mid-range, you see the play breaking down in front of you. Your teammates aren't moving. You go, oh, shit. He dribbles away from the basket, back out to the 3-point line with under 8 seconds left, picks up his dribble with a dude on him, pump fake, double clutch, buries a 3. No center could ever do that in the history of the game. I completely agree with you. George, we already talked about it a little bit, but thoughts on Joel Embiid, his play through the first half of the year and last night?
He is 100% the runaway favorite for MVP. And, like, I understand that people, I think outside of Philadelphia, didn't really accept that. Like, we've been preaching it, but after last night, it's clear cut. He is the MVP right now of the whole entire NBA, which is insane to think about. Like, a center in Philadelphia leading the MVP race halfway through the year. That's ridiculous. Last night, that takeover of Joel Embiid, that 3-point shot where he really ran back to 3-point line to take that shot, and he still hit it with perfect defense from Boogie in his face. He is the most dominant player in the NBA, and that is not arguable right now. He's the most dominant player in the NBA right now. He can take over a game with will. Like, he can do what he wants. Nobody's stopping him in the paint. His mid-range is absolutely knocked down every time. We're watching one of the most special talents that
you're watching greatness is what you're watching.
This is probably, like you said it earlier, he's probably going to be one of the favorites ever in Philadelphia as an athlete. He's going to be one of the favorite athletes ever.
Like, not already, in my opinion.
Yeah, bro. Not only is he so dominant and talented and great,
he's so fun.
He's so fun and energetic. You combine all that with a ring at some point.
Oh, please.
I mean,
please.
Dude, watching him
the ultimate feel-good story.
Yeah.
A guy who loses everything, that starts basketball late, comes to this country, literally living the American dream in through the NBA as a 16-year-old kid coming to the States. He learns the game of basketball and
gets hurt.
16 to 18, goes on to one of the biggest college programs at the time at Kansas. Shows that he's absolutely the best prospect for NBA basketball at Kansas, even though he's constantly getting hurt. Gets hurt before the draft, loses the first overall pick, which he clearly deserved. Thank God.
Thank you.
And he misses 2 years of his career to start off his career, and everyone labels him a bust. I'll say it right now. When I was talking about rebuilding the team through those 2 years Embiid was hurt, he was never in my plan. I was like, all right, who do we like more? Do we like Jalil or do we like Nerlens as we're moving forward in the league? That was always my ambition. Like I was like, all right, who would fit better next to Nerlens or Jalil Okafor, with Ben Simmons or Brandon Ingram? Like those are the conversations we were having. And then he goes on from 2 years out and just jumps into the league guns blazing and has worked his way to probably winning an MVP award. It's just such a
you want to talk vibes because you said you're getting a vibe in the beginning of the show. You know, the last time the Sixers had an MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, win it in the same year?
2001.
Yep. You know what happened in 2001?
We went to the finals.
Yep. Vibes, baby.
I know. It's fuck 01. I'm getting 83 vibes. Fo. Like, I'm clean sweep vibes of the chip. Like, everything about this team just feels good. Like, I just do not. The Celtics aren't a factor this year, in my opinion.
Not even worried.
I don't think the East is going to be a cakewalk. I really don't. I know I just made the whole fo comment, but I don't think the East is going to be a cakewalk. But I think the Celtics are beatable. I think anyone below the Celtics is extremely beatable because everyone's bordering around 500. Knicks, the Indiana Pacers. I don't even know who's at the bottom. It's so nice being at the top. I don't even look at the bottom of the standings.
Right.
Bulls. Yeah, whoever.
You walk through any of them.
You got the Bucks, who I don't think are a legitimate NBA playoff team. I really don't. They get to the second round and get bounced every year. They're kind of like us. It's fucked up, and the Jazz are fucked up. That's why I don't think the Jazz are a contender. I wouldn't think we're a contender this year from our prior history until I see Embiid playing the way he does. The only team that legitimately worries me is the Nets. And I don't care what anyone says. You can go, oh, well, they don't play defense. Oh, they don't have a center. It doesn't matter. You have a guy playing. James Harden's arguably the third place in MVP playing right now. And they don't have Kevin Durant playing right now, which is something you have to consider. Right. That team gets clicked and going into the playoffs. They're going to be a real fucking team. And they're only a half game behind us. But minus that, this team it just looks like it's going to be easy to get to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, almost.
Ooh, that's crazy. Oh, my God. See, I agree with you. I think the only team that worries me is the Nets, and that's only because obviously you have the best starting five in the NBA there with the three most lethal shooters you can choose from. But Ben's going to contain one of them. You can't stop him, right? It's not. You're not going to stop. You're not stopping any of them. Ben will contain one of them.
He'll hold them to 25 instead of 35.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a grind out series. It's going to be hard as hell, but anybody else, the Bucks, they're good. I think we beat anybody besides the Nets right now in a 7-game series. I think if you give me the Nets, bring me the Nets. I'm so ready. I'm already thinking about that series, in my mind, which is
might be the finals moving forward.
It's crazy to think about because, all right, nobody's stopping Embiid on that team, so it's gonna be a grind out series. That series would be incredible to watch.
But vice versa, you gotta admit it. Kyrie Irving's an issue in the playoffs.
No. I'm scared of the Nets, no doubt. But I'm ready to take them on. I'm ready to take them on. As weird as this is to say, in the past I wasn't like this, but as I've gotten older and more fan of the game, just watching the intensity of it, especially late game, I've become more of a fan of wanting to play the best competition because maybe it's because as I get older, there's less competition in my life, and as there's less competition, the more I crave to watch competition. But as I get older, I want this team to beat all the best teams because I don't want anyone to be able to tell me that they didn't deserve it. Well, if they ran into the Nets in the playoffs, they probably wouldn't have won. Or if they ran into the Celtics in the playoffs, they probably would have lost like they always do. I want to beat those teams. I want a second round matchup against the Celtics. I want to beat the dog shit out of them and then go to the Eastern Conference Finals and then beat the dog shit out of the Nets. Yeah, what'd you say?
Chip against the Lakers. That's how I want to win this chip.
Sixers and foe?
Foe.
Sixers and foe.
Foe, baby.
Listen,
Shout out Moses.
I don't care who they play and who they beat to get a ring. If anyone tries to tell me, yeah, but if they would have ran in here, I'll just show them the ring. That's I really.
It's granted, yeah, same here. Like LA can say that last year. Like you got to go against the kind of broken down Miami Heat team.
Right.
Like
right.
Those
Get
Lakers
my ring.
care. They get to go like this. Oh well, I got what 16 now.
You can't take it away. You cannot take it away.
You can't.
The ring, you cannot take it away.
Here's something I want to talk about from last night's game too, because I said to George earlier. Let's talk about the backup center on this team, because as great as Joel Embiid was last night, as dominant as he was, Dwight Howard changed that game last night.
Big time.
Literally changed the momentum of the game, and I said it multiple times. Watching it, I'm like, every time we chipped away at the lead in the second half, it felt like there was like 4 different shots Utah made that I was like, that's a dagger, game over.
Yup.
We chip at the 5. They hit 2 threes in a row. That's a dagger, game over. They kept chipping away. Dwight Howard hits a 3 when he puts it up. I'm like, no. Oh, okay, thank you. Go back down, plucks Gobert, gets a foul, hits a free throw, throws Conley shit off the glass other way.
It was a great block, and Conley was bitching about it too, man. It was a clean block.
First of all, I want to throw this as a side note. I hate that team. They are so damn annoying.
They're my second most hated team in the league. It goes Celtics, Jazz, Heat, and then Knicks, because I just hate that the Knicks are so relevant when they're a dog shit franchise.
But they are annoying, bro. And like, I literally changed my header on Twitter to the picture of Joel and Ben pointing out, and Mitchell's like giving them that look. It was amazing. But I don't even know. The fact that you made 21 3-pointers, you had multiple 10-point leads in the fourth quarter, and you want to come out after the game and say that you won the game, the refs took it from you. What are you talking about, bro? You were in the final?
First place seeding, best record in the NBA. You guys are really feeling the effects of the refs.
Yeah. He shot. How about this? Maybe don't shoot 0 of 9 in the last 8 minutes of the game. How about don't score 34 or 33 on 34 shots?
Get called for 2 techs.
Right. How about your defensive player of the year not get his ass beat at every level in a half court set for 3 minutes or whatever?
The other thing is he tried to make it a spin-off of small market teams getting the lesser end of the stick. And where I do agree with that to a degree, and Philly is considered a big market team, we're not fucking LA or Boston. Like if we're a big market team, we're the small market of the big market teams. I don't care if we're 5th in the country for sports. Philly gets crapped on all the time.
Someone tweeted that. Someone tweeted like, there's never been a day in Philly sports history where a ref's woken up and like, today I'm going to give Philly the benefit of the doubt. Like that has never happened.
Once in our history.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, for Donovan Mitchell to like come out and do that, whatever, like cry, it doesn't matter. But how about
and Jordan Clarkson?
2:13 left.
My violin for him.
2:13 left in the game. Jazz up by 5. Donovan Mitchell proceeds to go 0 for 10, 2 turnovers. He has 2 points off free throws, 1 assist, 2 technicals. How about don't do that? How about like I don't like if the refs did not do enough to make you go 0 for 10 from the field to end the game. That's not.
It's also the points in the game where the Jazz could have kept. They had the lead the majority of the game. The Sixers didn't take the lead until less than 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The whole game,
and then the Jazz went back up by 5.
Yeah, and you had multiple points to expand the lead and shut it down. You were playing that good. They were kicking the shit out of us for a while there. Like, there was nothing we could do. It was one of those games where, all right, they're up 12. We bring it in within 6 or back up 12. We're within 4. They could bring it up to 8. We get back down to 4. Now it's up 10. Like, there were so many, swings for them. They went on so many good counter runs. Because we all know basketball. It's a game about going on runs. You want to go on your best runs at certain times, like the end of the third, end of the fourth. You want to stomp on their necks early in the first quarter. Like, these are the things they did, but they got beat fairly. Like, it's just bottom line. Like, some nights the calls don't go your way, and it wasn't like we were getting every call, man. There were some bad calls on both sides of this.
And here's the thing. He didn't get the double T. Correct me if I'm wrong. It didn't happen at once, right? Like, he didn't get both T's at the same time. Like, the Devin Booker ejection 3 nights ago was ridiculous.
That was bad.
But how about this also? Like, your team needs you, right? You're supposed to be the best player on this team, right? Maybe after you pick up your first tech, don't F this, F that, F this, F that towards a ref and throw a ball at, like, maybe don't do that and pick up another T to get your ass ejected. They didn't hit you with no bullshit double T at the end of the game because you said one thing. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, someone said it earlier, dude. We hate on the refs a lot. Well, like, I know that. And they're terrible a lot of times, okay?
I hate it most of the time, yeah.
The players nowadays, so who said this? I think Sal Tunis or whatever said this on 97.5 earlier.
Yeah, they were talking about it on my way home.
Dude, they bitch and moan after every play.
Yeah, but the double side of that sword is, would you rather them bitch and moan, or would you rather them get teched every time and then you lose out on great plays? Like, everyone does it. Like, it should be resolved a little more. But I also think that, you know, like, refs should be held accountable. Like, I do believe in the idea.
I agree.
I believe in the idea of fining refs if they miss game-winning calls. Like, whenever the NBA has to go back and say the refs missed the call, whoever made that call needs to be hit with a fine. Maybe not NBA player fine their refs, but let's be honest. It's not like their fucking pockets are fucking hurt. And they make, what, $200,000 a year, and they work half the year and do probably side hustles all off season. Let's be honest here. $5,000 fine ain't hurting your pockets.
Not even that, or you just like you miss the next game check, like you don't get the ref the next game or something. Because it's true, like they're going to miss calls. Like, they're going to make calls that aren't there. They're going to miss calls and make calls that shouldn't be called here and there. But like when it's game defining, put it this way: that Ben screen against Cleveland. That would have when was it Danny or whoever, Toby? No, not Toby. He wasn't back yet. Would have hit the game tying 3, and he got called for an offensive foul when he was just standing there. That changed the outcome of the game because you're an ass. Like that's the shit that pisses me off. But
let's be honest. Like they were bitching. Like the whole Jazz locker room. Rudy was bitching about the refs. Donovan was bitching about the refs. But Joel Embiid just like broke them. Like he just broke that whole locker room. That locker room was so pissed off last night. The quotes that were coming out on Twitter, it was the funniest. It was like cherry on top to that dub. It was the funniest thing ever. Jazz fans are pissed. The locker room's pissed. Everyone's so mad. And then we just got like Joel Embiid trolling Donovan Mitchell on Twitter. Like that was just icing on the cake. It was a great way to end the All-Star break. Or to go into the All-Star break.
I agree. So last night, I guess we can just wrap up that segment with on last night's game that it was a hell of a game. It was a fun game, but it was also a hell of a win. However, Snap, I know we want to talk. It's not being negative. It's just how can we improve this team? Clearly, the bench needs some work. There's some rumors out there. Let's talk trade targets, stuff like that. Kyle Lowry rumors were picking up for a second. His agent kind of debunked those. What holes would you fill if you were Daryl Morey, Snap? Are you looking just strictly bench help for giving up small assets or the buyout? Are you looking for a Kyle Lowry type move as another ball handler in the lineup? What are you doing?
Well, everything is here, like with how you want to go about it. So clearly, you don't have all the assets in the world. So you have to make use of what you can do. So one, you have a big contract that could possibly be unloaded with a young player, which is Danny Green. Danny Green has a decent amount of cap space right now. I think it's $15 million this year. Yeah. So if you need to, besides that, we're pretty strapped for cap. So you can't bring on a big contract if you're going for a knock it out of the park. So you need to package Danny Green with either Matisse, Maxey, or both if you're looking to make a big move, because they're the only two players with real value that aren't essential to this team moving forward. Minus that, you can scrounge up a first-round pick or just one of those guys if you're looking for just a really good bench piece that you need, or a starter or a six-man caliber player. Or, you can go the easiest route, like, oh, here's 3 seconds for a really good bench guy. And then there's the buyout market. So, in my opinion, the biggest need on this team is still shooting. This team is still last in shooting the ball from outside, and it's needed. it's really needed. Like you see it last night. If you have a guy that can actually knock down threes or coming off the bench or create a shot off the bench, oh my God, that's a terrible comment.
Yeah, Nadir, I don't know if you're coming at me, bro, or whatever. When the hell was I high on Zaire Smith? What are you talking about? You're a bad comment away from getting blocked.
Maybe I said some good things about him at one point. I probably did because I did like his athleticism and his defense at one point, but that was before the peanut allergy.
Well, I mean,
but let's be honest, if I could do one thing involving Zaire Smith, it would be make a time machine, go into the draft night room of the draft we got him in,
and
knock out Brett Brown before he made the trade to trade Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith, and then make the trade and then deny the trade and draft Mikal Bridges and then lock Brett Brown up in a cell and say, if you ever try some stupid shit like that again, I will hurt you. Because that's the only thing related to Zaire Smith I could ever talk about.
The best thing about Zaire Smith is that he got a peanut allergy, he almost died, and he still came back on the court.
I get it.
You guys gotta remember, this kid was a power forward in college. He's a 6'4" power forward, but he's not heavy set like a Draymond Green or a fucking Charles Barkley. Like the kid was just not big enough to play power forward, and converting him into a shooting guard, that's a whole different aspect of basketball. It's a whole different position we're talking here. It's not like we're making him a point guard to a shooting guard or power forward to a small forward. Like we're saying, you've played in the front court your whole life. You're going to become a backcourt player moving into the NBA, the hardest level of basketball in the world. Anyway,
Nadir just hurts my head.
One of my favorite targets is I would preferably go for a guy like DeMarcus Cousins. I know that name is hit or miss for a lot of people. I like Boogie coming off the bench. I know we have Dwight. But yes, Dwight had a good game last night because he just matched up well. But let's be honest, Dwight gets lost and in a lot of, not foul trouble, because that's kind of one of his jobs, just to go foul. But I like having a guy like DeMarcus Cousins. Anyone with good experience and that's played at an all-star level is good to have coming off your bench, especially just post-ups. Because, like, let's be honest, Dwight Howard not catching an alley-oop is worthless on offense, basically. That and offensive rebounds. Like, you can't run a set for Dwight Howard to score if it's not an alley-oop. Like, he usually just catches it off the glass, catches an offensive rebound off the glass, and puts it back up. Another notable name, which I think is going to be the name you hear at the trade deadline, the guy signed with the Sixers for almost it, I guess you could say. I always butcher his name. It's the forward from the Kings, Valencia. Valencia. I don't know how to say it. Dude is a very, very above average three-point shooter, and he's a stretch four, which this team actually very much could use coming off the bench because it fills two of your needs. It fills power forward help, and it fits three-point shooting help. He isn't shooting great this year from three-point range. I think he's shooting 31%, but career-wise, he's 38.9. So if you put him in a system that really would put him around better talent, I could see them numbers going up, especially in a more limited role than he already has. So that's a realistic target. The Kyle Lowry thing is a dream.
Yeah.
But you don't get Kyle Lowry without making a big move. And let's be honest, like the Toronto Raptors fucking know that. Like, yeah, they came out and said, yeah, we would love to send you back home to Philly. But if you think we're giving you up for dog water, you're out of your mind. Like, let's be honest here. Yeah. You're going to give up Thibault. You're going to give up Maxey. You're going to give up Danny Green and probably a first-round pick. That would be the deal if I was Toronto. That's the minimum I would take. I would be like, you need to give us two young players and Danny Green so we can drop him off the books next year. And you might have to give up another guy just to make the cap work. So you have bench issues, and you're going to trade three of your bench guys for one starter. It just doesn't seem like a possible move. I would like to bring him back. Bring Kyle Lowry in this offseason. He really wants to play in Philly. He's a free agent in the summer. I think you need to go for small moves that just bolster the depth of this team.
Bielitsa. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's what you say it. And like
Nemanja Bielitsa.
I would love him.
I feel like I've heard someone say that before.
That's a good one right there. That Willard Robinson, the last guy on that list. I would love Patty Mills.
Patty Mills would be awesome.
Patty Mills is a perfect fit.
Yep.
He's guard help off the bench. He knows how to run a system. He's a veteran. He's won a championship. And to top it off, He's a great 3-point shooter, and he's Australian. So you just, I don't know. I like having those culture guys around. Like, I was a big fan of Jonah Bolden when he was here, just because him and Ben were tight because they were both Australian.
Hello,
I
Mike.
like feeding into what guys like around them. You know what I mean? Bring some home culture for Ben.
Let me throw this name at you. So obviously you heard Jason Dumas had tweeted like 2 weeks ago. DeLon Wright and George Hill were two names that were attached to the Sixers for backup point guard.
I like
George
that.
Hill I really like as well.
I like Wright a lot, too.
I'll give you
Cool.
another Detroit Piston that I want. Wayne Ellington.
Wayne Ellington.
I'm in a heartbeat.
Wayne Ellington and DeLon Wright, I would love, because they're just knockdown 3-point shooters, especially Wayne Ellington. That's how he's made his career.
The crazy thing is, right? So here, let me frame it this way: the bench definitely needs help. We all know that and understand that if they want to be true contenders this year. Now, when you look at a playoff rotation, Snap, how many guys are really in it? 8 to 9?
8, maybe less, if depending on how deep
Okay.
you are.
So you have Shake. You know Matisse is going to play in certain matchups because of on the defensive end of the court. So you're starting 5 and then those two. That's already 7. Let's say Dwight. I talked about this before on the Daily Dose. I could see Dwight in certain if the matchup's there, sure, he's playing in a playoff series. But I could see Dwight if he's not playing himself out of a rotation in certain situations. So my point is, we clearly need bench help and shooting and scoring and another ball handler. But how many holes can we really fill for a playoff rotation? In my eyes, 2. You're not going. No one else is really. Who else is going to play?
Dwight's got to get minutes, man. Because the thing is you do really want to play Joel Embiid 40+ minutes?
No, I don't.
Then you're running small ball lineups, and when you have guys like Giannis and Kevin Durant and some of these bigger players in the East, Anthony Davis,
No, I get it.
You're going to see if you make it all the way. And playing Embiid a full 40 minutes a night, maybe 35, 38, yeah, it's understandable, but he's going to need to take a break. So Dwight's got a spot.
So Dwight's got a spot.
Tells you need help around Dwight.
Right. So my point is, you're at 8.
Shake Milton, Dwight Howard. For some reason, Furkan Korkmaz is getting a lot of love. I know that Zaire. He's got me confused with Zaire Smith now. That comment, but that's a good
If they make a move, Furkan's out of the rotation.
Buyout market the right way, and bring in some really decent pieces. You don't need a knock it out of the park.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So
that's
if
what
we have 3 off the bench already.
Years ago.
If we have 3 guys coming off the bench already, you're at 8. My point is, we want what?
Even in the playoffs, I would want 9 or 10 guys because think about it. If depth's our issue and there's an injury to one of your main starters or one of your backup starters,
sure,
or not your backup starters, one of your less important starters, or like if Seth Curry went down, wouldn't you love to be able to be like, cool, I can start Shake and I still have Patty Mills on the bench,
right?
You know what I mean? Like that's
I know.
the type of move you need to make. You need a ball handler off the bench that can shoot and create.
Stretch big.
And you need a stretch big. Those are your 2 big needs. Dwight Howard's going to see minutes. Love it or hate it, he's going to be there. That's going to be the option at center. So you need a stretch 4 because Dwight Howard's on the floor
too.
Huh?
I feel like you kind of need some shooting too.
But that's what we just said that. You need a stretch 4 and you need a guard that can just hit outside and create. George Hill. George Hill's a great 3-point shooter, and so is DeLon Wright. Well, DeLon Wright's all right. Wayne Ellington's a great pick too, but then you have to commit to Shake running the second unit.
Right.
AKA, you're not going to have Shake and Ben minutes a lot.
It's going to be very interesting. George. Any other name? We've thrown out a couple names. Any other names?
No, you guys.
Now, let me ask you this, Snap. You two were big on PJ Tucker. The Rockets blow.
Well, the thing about PJ Tucker is you're gonna have a lot of suitors.
Yeah, there's already been reports from the Athletic saying he has a lot of suitors, and nothing's pointing toward the Sixers. So it doesn't even look like we're in the market.
Yeah,
the Lakers
I saw that article today, and there's a lot of suitors, and the Sixers aren't even mentioned.
Nadir, you are one more bad comment away from not being welcome back. He's playing. Let me make one thing very clear to you.
Oh, dude. Pop off, Dill.
Let me be honest with me. Why is he in the rotation? Is it because he's good, or it's out of necessity?
That's another name.
Yeah.
That honestly might be my dream pickup.
Oh, I'd love
You
this.
can pull that off, and he
I'd love
can
this too.
Danny Green minutes.
So, George, I'll ask you this question. Furkan Korkmaz in the rotation because he's a good player, or because out of necessity because our bench is that bad he has to play?
I don't know if you've I feel like we all watch Sixers games, right?
Yeah, sure.
What's the one hole on this team?
Bench.
It's the bench. And if we get those assets that we're talking about, if we get one or two guys, then Furk is
Out of the rotation.
out of the rotation.
I don't even know if he is, because he's probably the only serviceable small forward we have off the bench.
I'll find another way.
I don't.
You
I'll
get
make it
Wayne
work.
Ellington, games change. Furky might lose some minutes. You get George Hill and I gotta scroll up. Let's see. You get one of them two. The small forward minutes still need to be covered moving forward, and it's going to be Furky. The thing is, it's Furkan. He's aggravating because sometimes he makes good plays, man. He does. He does do good things on offense certain nights, but most of the time he's awful.
Doc's not going to trash him. I'm talking to the comment of it. Doc's not going to just trash him.
I want you guys to understand one thing.
Yeah, he's the head coach. He's not going to.
I want everyone watching.
It fucking blows, dude. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
So Nadir, hold on. Nadir has referenced Doc 2 times already. Doc greater than Dylan. Listen to what Doc says about Furk, meaning he knows how that Furk's good or whatever, right?
I'll give him that one though.
2 weeks ago, when I was praising Doc on the Daily Dose with Gint about what I forget what game it was, and we're talking about Doc, and he said Nadir starts talking about how they'll never win with Doc. Doc is 90s basketball. They'll never win with Glenn. He's not a Hall of Fame coach. We give Glenn way too much praise. So Nadir only likes to throw praises out there for Doc when it fits his narrative. But outside of Furkan, Doc's trash. Let's see. Doc Rivers has elevated Joel Embiid to the MVP of the league. He's elevated Tobias Harris back to a 20-plus point per game scorer and basically an all-star. He's elevated everyone on the roster except Furkan Korkmaz, who's shooting like a career low from the 3. But you're right, dude. You kill me. He plays because there's no one else. You're giving me a headache.
You don't even have a legitimate starting small forward.
Yo.
What's the Isaiah Joe news?
So, from an inside source for the team, Sixers rookie Isaiah Joe has cleared the required health and safety protocols to join the Delaware Bluecoats in the Orlando bubble. That he's with the team now down there and will play tomorrow during the Salt Lake City game for the G League. So that's Isaiah Joe. So he's officially going to be playing tomorrow with the Bluecoats. And I know Austin also said that right now the reason he is down with them is because they want to get him reps during the All-Star weeks. So that's the news so far on him.
So you're saying if he came back up,
they want him to have more minutes moving forward.
Yeah. So basically, what I know about Isaiah Joe as of right now is that they're sending him down so that he can get minutes instead of just sitting on his ass during All-Star week. They want him to get some playing time with the Bluecoats. So he'll be down there with Paul Reed and Rajon Tucker. It should be interesting. Should be a fun game to watch tomorrow if anyone else likes watching the Bluecoats right now.
They're in the playoffs, right, for the first time?
So, yeah, they just clinched the last game when they won and a different team lost that later that night. They clinched the playoffs for the first time in franchise history.
Damn.
Where can you watch that at for everyone?
So, I've been watching it on ESPN Plus. On your laptop, if you go on ESPN Plus, it's $5 a month. That's what I ended up doing. But I also cover the team, so it helps me. What's up?
They got the package too, I think, with Hulu too.
Yeah, so if you want to get the package of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, it's I think it's $13 a month. So it's a pretty good price in my opinion. ESPN Plus also covers college sports and a lot of different stuff. So there's a lot you can watch besides that on there. I've gotten my good use out of it, especially because the season is so short. it's realistically you only have to pay for like $10 to be able to watch the whole season of the G League basketball.
Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Nadir. Nadir. Right before.
I gotta respect the loyalty at least. I really do.
It's admirable, okay? Right before Isaiah Joe was sent down to the Bluecoats, because apparently you're hearing it from the sources that they want him to play and not just sit during All-Star Week. What did you keep saying Doc says about Furk? Can anyone tell me what Doc said about Furkan? Right, like 5 days ago, before they sent Isaiah Joe down to play? That Furkan worked his way out of the rotation before Toby got hurt. You guys remember that or no? He was asked a question about right before the game before Toby got hurt. He was asked a question, and Doc said, "You got to earn your minutes," because Furkan was like 0 of 6 from 3 or whatever, like 2 nights in a row. So he was out, and that's when Isaiah Joe started to play more. Then Toby got hurt, so Furkan has to play out of necessity. Let me put this very bluntly for you. Furkan Korkmaz blows Nadir.
He doesn't blow.
He blows.
I disagree.
Name me one good thing he does.
Occasionally, but that's
Name me one good thing he does besides knock down threes occasionally when he's supposed to be a sharpshooter.
So I will say, I'm not defending him in the sense that he does so much for your team, but what I will say though is he is what he is. He is a bench piece
that can't play
because he's an inconsistent bench piece. Because he's inconsistent, that is why he's a bench piece. He could be a starting guard on a team because he does shoot the ball well, but because he's so inconsistent with that shooting well, he is a bench piece. That is what he is.
I don't think he'd be a starter anywhere. Listen,
I think if he hit down his shots regularly,
hold on. I need to address this because it's really bothering me right now. He was 4 of 4 from 3 that game. Do you know what he finished in the second half, Nadir? 1 of 7 from 3. Like, you are on my last nerve today, bro. He had 16 points in the first half. He finished 1 of 7.
Did I come on at a bad time? I feel like I came on where he's
This is an ongoing conflict between the two of them.
Dude, because he doesn't stop. He's not getting the fact, then he started the next game. Out of necessity. Out of necessity, he had to start.
Listen, I like sometimes what Furkan does, but let's be honest here. If you had a better serviceable small forward on your bench,
even be in the rotation.
you'd probably bump him out of rotation.
Let me make this very clear.
And that's where you're definitely correct. And that's where I'm saying that's the reason why you saw Isaiah Joe getting some minutes. That's why you saw early Tyrese Maxey getting a good portion of minutes, because they see Tyrese Maxey especially being able to give you more defensively and offensively. It's just the fact that they need shooting there, and Furkan's the only guy realistically in the rotation right now that can shoot.
Right. So to my point,
that's why shooting on the bench so you can get a guy like him.
And I want to make this very clear to Nadir because apparently it touches. The reason I'm getting so mad is because he just pisses me off. It touches home to Nadir with Furkan. Let me make one thing clear. If I saw Furkan Korkmaz at the park, he would be the greatest. It would be the greatest thing I've ever seen. He's the first dude you pick at the rack. He'd be unbelievable, right? I'm going off of the NBA, the best of the best. So yes, he's in the top 3% in the world. I'm not saying he's trash at basketball. When it comes to the NBA, he isn't good compared to his counterparts. Is that making sense? Is that hitting home? He's probably top 3% in the world in basketball. But when it comes to that he comes to the 3%, he's at the bottom of the 3%. Fair or unfair?
No, I think it's fair. I think he's better than your average NBA player, I will say. But I think he's
below average.
I think here's the way I see it. He's an above average shooter in the NBA.
Okay.
That's what but that doesn't make him okay. I should reword what I'm saying. He's not an above average player in the NBA. He's an average player who's an above average 3-point shooter. And the reason why he's average is because he's inconsistent.
He gives me poor J.R. Smith vibes.
Sure.
He'll hit 5 threes.
I don't think that's disrespectful to J.R. Smith, in my opinion.
No, that's
That's-
like a poor JR.
Yeah, but I think that's still
Unfit.
J.R. Smith could literally do everything on a basket. He could
So,
defend,
exactly.
he could dribble, he
That's
could
my
dunk
point.
it on people.
A very poor J.R. Smith. I'm talking bottom tier. If J.R. Smith just cracked the NBA, he'll dunk, he'll hit 5 threes one game, and then the next game he's non-existent and he doesn't do
Don't get
anything.
me wrong, dude. Furkan will pull out a dunk that I've never seen before, that I didn't know he had.
Listen, he's a dunk contest champion in Europe.
The Darth Vader, Darth Vader mask is great.
I don't know how many times I have to keep saying out of necessity until it clicks, but he's playing 18 minutes out of necessity.
Listen, let's move on from Furkan.
I can't. I literally can't.
Dude, you have to. He's getting in your head now.
All right, listen, I'm gonna jump off because I gotta do. Listen, I'm gonna jump off because I gotta go do some homework. But I wanted to come on and tell you guys the Isaiah Joe news. So if you guys want to see Isaiah Joe get some minutes, go watch them play up against the Salt Lake City Jazz team
on Twitter.
Oh yeah, go follow me on Twitter if you want. That's where I broke the news. So go follow me on Twitter if you want to. All right,
I don't know where to point.
Peace out. Mirrored. All right, peace out, everybody.
Later.
But yeah. Moving forward, let's get back to trade talks. Another thing I want to talk about is the movability of Tyrese Maxey. I think people are going to crucify me for this, but I think Tyrese Maxey is completely expendable.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah.
You're not getting an argument out of me.
I don't think he's held up to any of the early season hype. I think the only reason he scored 39 points is because he was the best scoring player on a 7-man roster for 48 minutes. And I really haven't been generally impressed with him since the beginning of the season, honestly. If someone else likes him, I get it. First-year player, and I get it. First-year player. You know what I mean? He could change. But let's be honest here. He's starting to really give me hard TJ McConnell vibes.
And he got worked by TJ the other night, a few possessions. Listen, all I'm going to say, I'll keep it very simple when it comes to Tyrese Maxey. I like the kid. I want to love the kid. I loved him at 21. I thought we got great value. When he had to start for COVID reasons, he played out of his mind, especially against Denver. Got it.
It's over.
I don't even know how to explain
for him, if you're getting a guy, he's expendable asset. If you're getting a guy for him, then
put it this way: even if he's not playing a lot because he's a rookie and he's not ready, 2 to 3 years down the line, they think he can grow. Where's his place on this team? Ben's your starting point guard. Ben's 24 years old. Shake Milton's the backup point guard. Shake Milton's 23, 24 years old. So where in the future, it's not like Ben and it's not like Ben or Shake's old, and in 2 years from now, Tyrese is going to fit that mold. I don't think he has a spot on this team.
It's not even like he's a combo guard or a knockdown outside shooter that you can stick at the 2 guard to help out. This guy is kind of refusing to shoot outside. He did do that, Mark. He did very much do that.
I like
TJ. I'm not slandering him. I'm just saying he's that level of player. He's not worth what you have right now. You don't need another player like Tyrese or TJ McConnell on this team. What you need is a shooting guard off the bench or a point guard that can create or a stretch 4. You don't need another create and drive type of point guard.
And here's what I'll tell you very quickly why I would move him. Joel is ready to win now. There's no more a year or two. Joel and Ben will be ready next year and blah, blah, blah. So don't trade it. Okay. He is ready now. So if it takes moving him to bring in a better fit, what are you laughing? Are you laughing at Mark?
No. Forget it.
If it takes moving Max,
Mark. I love TJ. He gives you a spark plug off the bench, but I don't know. You can go that far, brother.
Check out Mark's podcast here on TPL at Tough Cover Pod on Twitter. Just started. He just got off right before we did.
Love TJ. I like to model my game. I love taking mid-range jump shots and playing SD defense because I'm undersized.
I modeled
maybe this season. I'll say top 10. I'll give you that, Mark. Top 10.
Stat modeled his Chestnut Hill ball after TJ.
Yeah. Anyone that knows me, I'm gonna keep running.
George, how expendable is Tyrese Maxey?
No, I mean, listen, you said it perfectly. Like, where does he fit in the future on this team? I love Tyrese Maxey. You guys like Tyrese Maxey. Like, we got great value for him at 21. Like, when that pick happened, when he just fell in our laps, it felt like a miracle. Like, I feel like he's more of a top 15 in that draft type of player. So getting him was great. But if you're gonna get a guy for him, especially right now when you are win now mode, you have Joel playing at the top of his game, you have Ben playing top of his game defensively too. You have Toby averaging 20 a game consistently. Like, you have guys in this team that you're ready to win right now. Maxey is 100% available in any trade talks. It doesn't matter. I don't think anybody should disagree on that, because if you want to hold on to Maxey, like, okay, that's fine. But if you're going to get a guy for him, especially at the trade deadline, in a win now type situation where you're going into the All-Star break as the number 1 seed with the potential MVP and the potential defensive player in the year in your team, pull trigger on any Tyrese Maxey trade if he's involved.
Right, that can get
That's my opinion. But
is there anything else you guys want to discuss quickly before we jump off today's episode regarding the Sixers?
Good. Sab, what do you got? If you got anything, we talked about a lot today.
I was actually just looking at backup point guards to answer. Mark, you might be onto something a little bit. I'm not saying you're right, but you're not wrong, maybe. Because I'm looking at the numbers. They're not far off.
This show
got guys like Harry Rozier and shit.
This show has hurt my head to a level.
I would trade 2 firsts and whoever else they wanted off the bench for that guy.
For Scary Terry?
Nothing would make me happier in this world than having Scary Terry help beat the Celtics in the playoffs.
He's been balling this year.
It's what we wanted from Al Horford. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we wanted Al Horford to help us beat the Celtics. If somehow Scary Terry became available, get it done.
Get it done.
I've had to deal with Furkan Korkmaz and TJ McConnell praise today. My head hurts.
I agree with that too, Marks. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that, Mark, but
definitely. I
not
think any reasonable.
No.
Over Kyle Lowry? Fucking right, I would.
I mean, you have a point. You have a point for the price.
6 years old.
You have a point for the price that it would take to get Lowry versus what it would take to get Rozier. But if you're talking who's pushing you to a championship more, it's Kyle Lowry.
I do not agree.
Come on.
I think Terry Rozier is a better scorer than Kyle Lowry at this point in their careers. Terry Rozier is 26 years old, so he could be a start. He could be a piece moving forward for your team. He can play both guard positions.
I'm talking about this year to win a chip.
This year, right now, Terry Rozier has had a better season than Kyle Lowry.
He's been hurt.
Because he's
and
old.
He's back. And he came back and dropped. I forget what he dropped in his first of all. First of all, for the whole old shit, he's averaging like
10 years older than him.
He's averaging 8. He's averaging like 18.6 or 18.7, 6 and 7 at 35 years. Go confirm it.
No, he is. It was like 17.7.
To quote Stephen A. Smith, that is blasphemous.
I think he's averaging
blasphemous.
That is blasphemous. Dude, if you want to talk age, contract going forward, what it would take to give up.
You have access to our Twitter. Put it up on a poll right now.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, you're right. Kyle Lowry is averaging 18 still.
Oh, yeah. Isn't he?
Oh, don't start with me.
Isn't he?
Don't start. Terry Rozier's averaging 20.
That's a bucket more, and then he's missed time.
And
Terry's been balling this year.
My point is, you're missing the point. You are missing the point.
43% from 3-point range.
You are greatly missing the point. My 18 point per game comment was on the fact that you called him old.
I would love Kyle Lowry here, but still, if I got to pick between a 20-point a night score on a team
and an 18.6
on a team loaded with good young guards, and he's still averaging 20 on 43% from 3 over 34 Kyle Lowry, which I do love Kyle Lowry's game. I love that he's a annoying pest on defense. I love he can shoot. I love he can run an offense. But if I have to pick between a 34-year-old point guard and a 26-year-old point guard, and I have to give up about the same amount for each of them, I'm taking Terry Rozier, bro.
No, not for this year. Not for the 2021.
Yes, I am. I'm taking him this year. I like that. I like that athleticism. Kyle Lowry's won already. Terry Rozier's hungry still, bro. And
Hungry.
And he's not. He's a 26-year-old point guard who felt betrayed by the
Kyle
Celtics.
Lowry
Would drive him more than to
Kyle Lowry has won one championship. No,
won a championship because of Kawhi Leonard. Let's not forget about all the times he choked in the playoffs.
Can I say my opinion?
We want to be honest here. He scored 7 points in a playoff game before.
Yeah,
I know Ben scored too.
Justin.
What the hell?
Justin did this. Yeah. You can have your 2 more points, bro.
I'm still thinking.
No, scroll down. Justin, scroll back up. Kyle's shooting over 41% from 3.
39 to 41.
Bro, what? No, 43 to 41.
Yeah, Terry Rozier's shooting 43.9%.
And Lowry's shooting 41.
Bro, I'm still taking Terry, man.
Bro, what?
Dude, I don't even think this is a fucking question. I love Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry drastically improves his team, but I'm taking Terry Rozier in this situation.
Look at the numbers.
They're basically the same.
No, they're not.
I don't need Terry Rozier to give me 5 assists a game. I need him to give me 20 buckets from outside, 20 points from outside the arc.
And Kyle's giving you 1 bucket less right now on an injured year.
I don't, dude. Dude, he's played 4 games less. He's played 5 games less than Terry Rozier. That is literally the difference. Terry Rozier has played 33 games. Kyle Lowry has played 28. That's the difference. 5 games.
Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about going forward. I'm talking about this season, this postseason run. Who would I rather have? Kyle Lowry.
Terry Rozier, man. Terry Rozier.
Bro, let's break this down really quick.
Oh my God.
Terry 20, Kyle 18. 1 basket. Assist.
Okay, that's fair.
Assist.
Scoring
6.6. 6.6 to 3. Rebounds. 5 points.
Well, Embiid and Ben Simmons on the floor, but continue.
5.6 to 3. 3-point percentage. 43.9 to 41. Very freaking close. And free throw percentage, Kyle's better by 4%.
Same thing, basically. Scroll down.
Yeah. Those are all Kyle, too. That's all blue for Kyle.
The last 5 games. That's fair. Okay. Last 5 games.
All right, let's look at hold on.
The shooting performance, they're basically like the same player when you're looking at these numbers. You know what I see there? 51% from the corner. Give me that all day.
Oh, please, dude. Please. The left corner. Give me that.
47 from the top, 39, and 39. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. They're great numbers. Kyle Lowry would.
I would prefer Terry Rozier.
All right. And I prefer Kyle Lowry.
And
George, who?
No, and I'm saying this right now. If Kent's on next episode, no, we're not having this conversation with Kent. He's taking.
I would rather have Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
If we're talking about right now, a chance like
yes, I'm not talking about what it would take to give up.
If we're talking about like long jet, like we're getting this guy for the next like 4 years, it's Terry, and that's like obviously. But for right now, for this team, like if we can add one of the guys for the All-Star break, I'm taking Kyle Lowry.
Correct.
I'm sorry.
Correct the mundo, buddy.
Dude, I don't know, man. Hey, I'll say this.
Sam, I think
I know there's a lot of passion in this argument. There's a ton of passion in this argument. I'll give us that. I wouldn't be mad with either. It's a lot. I'm not over here. Like, if they had the chance to get both and they ended up going with Kyle Lowry, I'm not going to be fucking mad at the franchise. I agree. But preferably, I think I prefer Terry Rozier. They're like the same. They're like the same height. They kind of do the same things. I'd probably say Kyle's a better defender, but I'd also say that Terry Rozier is more athletic and better in transition.
Yeah, that was fun.
All
All I'll say, yeah, all I'll say is you got Nadir on your side. You're taking an L, brother.
Oh,
You're taking an L. You got Furkan on your team if you're rolling with Nadir. Oh my lord!
I think we still put up a poll. If you got Twitter,
do Twitter. Kyle Lowry's gonna run away with it though.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
you'd be surprised.
Philly loves Kyle Lowry.
That being said,
Yeah, we love him now because he said he wants to come
Please,
play.
follow the Twitter
Every
account.
Sixers Twitter didn't roast him for the last 4 years.
Shout out to Twitter.
with that being said, oh man, please follow us on Twitter at FaithfulFans2. At FaithfulFans2. You can follow Snap on Twitter at NotSismansky. Follow the Joel Embiid fan account at _George Ryder. You can follow myself at DylanJD98. Go Sixers. Go Kyle Lowry. And have a nice night, everyone.
Back. I like that.
Oh my God, he's shooting better from 3. And has more points.
And then with that graphic.
Goodbye. I'm not doing this. Goodbye.